Many of you have asked what types of tools do we use, and after amassing almost 30 cars in our Turo fleet, it's time to show you some of my top favorite tools, and we'll do a little mini garage tour. Now, please excuse the mess. I work on these cars almost daily and vacuum cleaners and all sorts of stuff, so let's continue. Now, I know it looks like a complete mess back here, but I can assure you, just like my father says, I know exactly where everything is on these shelves. Don't touch it. Because it's true, I know exactly what's on the shelf. And a lot of it's just spare parts. I actually have two tote bins that are very specific. One is spare parts and miscellaneous items that I either didn't need on a car or just ended up being extra. And the other bin is parts that need to go on vehicles when they come in casually. I know to reach in that bin, and that's where I can find things like filters or special switches. Now, this is the permanent parking place for our little mini scooter, but it has a flat tire. I need to repair that. Now, this compressor system may look super fancy, but this is actually one of Harbor Freight's entry-level compressors, and I absolutely love it. This is great for using all types of air tools or even just airing up tires. I have my little special gauge that has a digital readout. That way I don't have to guess or finick with stuff in the cold. Simply plug it in, it reads me the pressure, and I push on it to air them up. And right next to my compressor wheel, I also have this retractable extension cord. This is really handy, especially if I have multiple cars in the garage, or if I need to get all the way to the end of my driveway and vacuum out a vehicle. Something like a proper extension cord that actually retracts is like invaluable. Now, Aubrey and I have already shown this, but this is our complete Husky garage system. So this organizes all my tools. Now, my toolbox tools here, but what about the bigger stuff, like even shop clothes? This is a mess right now, but this is kind of like miscellaneous things that are projects that I'm working on. I just need to put tools somewhere, get some off the floor and out of the way. Down below, I have things like electrical and fuses and light bulbs in this cabinet. This one's all my oils and filters. I even have used motor oil, fresh motor oil, and all the filters I could possibly need for our many Yaris's and other various cars. And our cleaning cabinet, so all of our sprays and solvents, our quick grab stuff, things that we need for every car, and then also our vacuum, steam cleaners, and carpet cleaners. But what about some of the tools that we use on a day-to-day basis? Here's some of my favorites. Now, keep in mind, some of these tools are a little more expensive, and I didn't get all of these tools at one time. I actually got them when I was 20 starting, and I just accumulated them throughout the years, whether it was a specific job that needed that exact tool, or I just found that these would actually make my life a whole lot easier, like some of the electric tools. Like, for instance, my impact guns. These are really handy. They have removable and swappable batteries, so if I have an impact that needs to get on the go, I have a fresh battery almost every time because I have a lot of different tools, like a flashlight. I even have a sawzall, a drill. Everything uses these battery systems. I like Milwaukee. Some people prefer other, but honestly, Milwaukee's done me well. Now, sockets are a really big part of a lot of the stuff that I work on. Almost every manufacturer uses a bolt that needs a socket set of some sort, and this is exactly what I have this specific drawer for. I have everything from full-size half-inch sockets to 3/4 inch, 1/8. I have everything nice and neat and organized, so I know exactly what I need when I need it. And of course, I still have things like all my screwdriver drawers. I even have things like all my wrenches and even things like pliers, crescent wrenches down here. I really have a pretty good methodical organization. That way I know all this stuff is in the same drawer. This is exactly what I need. This is the drawer for stuff that specifically doesn't want to come off. This is my impact drawer. So I have all my impact socket sets with weighted bits, and then I also have an air hammer. If it doesn't want to come off, I'll make it come off. This little drawer is actually specifically for all my scanners. So this is just my two little itty bitty scanners. This one right here has the full digital display that I can read through certain codes. This is the one that I actually taken a lot of our Turo car inspections. So I want to see if this car has any hidden issues. This is the quick one that I take. And I also have a little backup one just in case. If I remember correctly, I actually bought this one first, but it only has one single line and you can only read codes one by one.
We did, because I like that one better because it's easier to use.
Oh yeah, 2 buttons versus 3 buttons. Now, for the bigger jobs that my little scanner can do, this is actually what I use. This is my Autel Scanner. This is one that I really held out from buying because they are actually really expensive whenever you're trying to work on cars. This is the one that you need to bypass a lot of the stuff the little scanners can't do, and even manufacturer stuff you can actually do through this as well. So this scanner will actually go deep dive into your vehicle, go through every single module, and allow you access to actually work on specific things like rolling up and down certain window motors, programming things on Mercedes-Benz. This thing does it all. This cabinet is actually where all my brake component stuff is. Specific brake tools, things I need for drums or rotors, pad expanders. I have all of my brake cleaner, which is an essential when working on vehicles. And lastly, all of my coolant down here too. This is actually the money maker because brake jobs typically charge $350 per axle on most vehicles, where I can do them for just the cost of labor and parts, which is right about what? 120, 150 bucks. Now I know we already talked about the cleaning supplies drawer, but I can honestly say this is what we use the most because we clean out every one of our vehicles using these specific machines. So we have the steamer for getting out those really hard cracks and nannies inside the vehicle. Crooks and nannies? Cracks and nannies? We put whampies.
Nooks and crannies.
Nooks and crannies, gosh. I so got it wrong. A nice 5 horsepower shop vac. This is actually really important, and it has a really long hose. I don't know why it took me so long to realize that I need a hose that I can get from either one side of the vehicle or the other without having to pull the entire machine around. Very important. And then lastly, our little carpet cleaner for sucking out any water that's in the vehicle, anything in the mats, especially if they're really heavily soiled. This comes in clutch. Not pictures my OZO machine because truthfully I only have to use this maybe once every month when I have some serious smells that I can't get out of a vehicle. The OZO machine definitely is worth it. It's like $30, $40 on Amazon. I truthfully actually use these little cans. This is actually a very useful tool. I buy them by the 3-pack, and all you have to do is pop the top and then depress this little button right here, and it instantly starts fogging out the vehicle to get rid of any, really nasty smells.
So of all of these tools, what would you say is the top 5 tools for new Turo hosts or Turo hosts that maybe aren't working on their cars consistently, Turo hosts that are just trying to build up their tools? What are the 5 priorities?
Okay, one of them is probably going to be something that I actually just got, and I actually had the opportunity to use it today. Came in really good on a pinch, and if you even don't have a workspace, this is definitely one you'd want. So this is my newest tool, and you can tell it's new because of how clean it is. I actually had the opportunity to use this today. It's a cordless air compressor. Now I have my own air compressor and I can always top off my air in all my vehicles, but what happens if your car is completely flat? This is definitely one that you want. It has a little digital gauge on the back and it's battery operated. It's a 4-amp battery, so if you use Ryobi tools, this is definitely one you want. I'm sure they have Milwaukee and other DeWalt ones, but truthfully this one works great. Works in a pinch. Now you don't obviously need this many because this has been acquired through multiple different tool sets, but definitely get a good socket set with all the types of sizes that you need. Remember, a lot of these vehicles share a lot of the same bolt sizes, so either getting a metric or an SAE socket set with a ratchet is definitely handy. Get one of those. My impact is actually something that I definitely highly value. It's got this bright light on it, but impact definitely helps you getting wheels and tires off of cars way quicker than using a traditional, one socket puller that comes in the vehicle. This one works very fast, and it's not just for wheels and tires, it's also big components, motor mounts, things you simply can't get off with a hand tool, you can get off with this impact.
And that specific impact I feel like has been through a lot of abuse and has been lasting forever.
Yeah, if you see this little divot right here, it's because I accidentally dropped the Ranger on it, and it was holding on my Ranger for about 3 minutes before I realized that my suspension wasn't messed up, just my impact was underneath it. Now, even though I use my big scanner for a lot of stuff, I don't think every Turo host needs it. Definitely get you a nice, well-equipped, handy little scanner that you can take on the go with you. Whether you're purchasing cars, self-diagnosing a vehicle, or even just want to see what the heck is up with your car, this definitely comes in handy. And lastly, a good jack and jack stand set. This is actually one that I get from Harbor Freight, and this is actually the same design they use for snap-on jacks. It's a whole lawsuit, look into it, but this jack is amazing. It's a rapid, quick pumping jack, so as you can tell, 3 pumps and I'm already pushing up on the vehicle, and then everything else is super easy. It's sprung, it's lightweight, it's definitely movable. I take this on the go with me in my Ranger when I have to go work on cars, but even just having it in a garage setting works wonderful. Definitely a good jack will go a long way, and it's safe. For a long time, Aubrey and I actually used jacks that were either found in vehicles or those cheap ones you get from Walmart, the little tiny black jacks. They fail really quickly. They're $50 when if you just make this initial investment, it's way easier and way safer than using the spare ones that come in vehicles. Now keep in mind, all these tools did not come overnight, and a lot of it wasn't even organized as nice as it is currently because, I mean, this is 9 years worth of progression. Getting these tools from either Black Friday sales or getting them from working on other people's vehicles and trading work for tools. When you're working on vehicles, you'll find that you're gonna have a specific need for a certain set of tools just by doing the day-to-day process and working on your own vehicles. I've been getting a lot of requests from people to make videos on how to work on vehicles. If this is something you're interested in, go ahead and leave a comment down below. And as always, guys, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and we'll see you in the next episode.